What's up, guys? This is Clint Coulter. Today I'm going to be evaluating some high school hitters. And compared to the last video I did where I did a middle school evaluation, I think the biggest jump between middle and high school is middle school, your body's physically changing so much. And those physical changes are going to change your mechanics, maybe your approach even. And you're really more so just setting a foundation going into high school with your reps and the fundamentals of the game. And once you get to high school, now you're starting to mold what type of player you're going to be. And you're getting some college interest hopefully, and they're telling you where you fit in their program, and you need to start looking at what type of outs are you making, and are those outs productive to the type of player you are? Are you a power guy that's hitting balls on the ground and not getting good pitches to hit to drive in the gaps, or maybe you're vice versa, you're a speed guy and you're making early outs, not going deep in counts, so your team can see, what type of pitcher this is, and maybe you're flying out a lot too, so you need to figure out what's breaking down mechanically or in your approach, and this is where you're starting to really dissect your game and work on your craft. I'd really like to know what type of other ideas you guys got for me. These type of videos are pretty fun for me to make, and I got some ideas moving forward. And I appreciate if you guys would shoot me a subscription, and let's get rolling in this video and see what these guys got. Appreciate it. Hey guys, so first off I want to give a shout out to Showtime Baseball. Those are my boys back home, and respect the game. It's on the back of all their shirts, and that's a real important message. The game will be here a lot longer than you are, so always play the game with respect. So his first guy's name is Hugh Masters, and it's Hugh Masters 14 on Twitter. And what I got written down is mega bat speed. This guy's got a lot of bat speed, and a lot of that comes from his hitch. He's got a little hitch in his load, so he loads his hands back, or his weight back, and then he hitches, and that little hitch right here, it's called a hitch only if it's late. So if he's on time with it, it can create a lot of bat speed, but you got to be careful to make sure you're on time with that hitch. And also, he has a really long load as far as time. So he spends a lot of time in his load. He's here, back, and then swing, as opposed to just being ready and going. So what I actually wrote down for him is maybe trying to toe tap. A good guy for him to look at is Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder's here, and he comes back, gathers, and then goes forward. Right now, Hugh's kind of here, and it's really long, and then comes forward. So maybe something to try, or maybe just kind of preloading and coiling in that backside a little more, so you're not moving so long and slow. And also, Hugh catches the ball really far out front, and I really like that. Catching the ball from front's really good, but you got to be careful that if you're catching the ball so far out front that it's taking your barrel off the ball, because there reaches a certain point out in front where you can't stay inside that ball because your arms can't reach that far. So about right there, your barrel's going to have to start turning. So I'd rather see him catch the ball a little bit deeper so he can stay inside that ball and really drive it. A good drill for Hugh I got written down here is a heavy bat drill. Especially a guy with a ton of bat speed, it might take something like a heavy bat to really slow him down. And once he gets that heavy bat, he's really going to be able to feel his direction to see if he's coming off the ball and rolling his hand over. So you get that heavy bat, and you're really going to have to focus on staying inside that ball. And Hugh's firing all together, so he's kind of all or nothing as far as his pitch recognition goes, because his bat speed's so quick. He's here and everything's firing really hard and firm together. I'd like to see Hugh get a little more separation between his lower half and upper half. So I want him to be here and lead with his legs and his back elbow and then his hands. And that's going to give him, one, even more bat speed because you're creating a whippy lag, but also it'll give you better pitch recognition, because if it's a breaking ball and you think it's a heater, then you realize later in the swing, oh, it's a breaking ball, you can check that swing. But right now, he's going to overcommit on those breaking balls down the middle, and he's going to be committed and end up chasing a little bit more pitches. But yeah, I think that's all I got for Hugh. There's no replacement for bat speed, so that's something that is a really big benefit, but he's just got to be really aware to work inside the ball, and with that hitch, also shorten it up a little bit so you can time it a little easier. Right now it's really long and exaggerated, then whippy at the end. and it's just kind of all or nothing. We want to be, you know, flexible and have a little bit more flexibility in our swing. And also with leading with that back elbow too, if you're firing everything at the same time, you don't have any room for error because you're setting the angle with your hands and your bat. If you set the angle with your back elbow, you can go here, the path is set, but now your hands can make minor adjustments in your swing. You know, this is a game of inches and micro inches, so if you can set that path and then make that minor adjustment with your hands later in your swing, you're gonna be in a lot better position than if it all goes together and your angle's already set and you're swinging it all at once. So let's check out this next guy. So this next guy is at Nate Lamers. And the first thing I got written down for him is circles. He's a left-handed hitter and he kind of preloads his hands. So he's kind of arm barring a little bit and he's got his hands preloaded. So when he goes forward, his hands are coming with him. He's here, his hands are coming with his swing. So what I wrote for him is maybe get a little bit of circles going. Don't get it quite so back here cocked and preloaded. Maybe get in here a little bit of circles and then push it back when you come forward. Or if he feels comfortable keeping them kind of preset, that's what I do. I like to preset them too, but then don't have to start them so far deep in the preset. Start them here, preset with your angles, and then leave them there. Don't have them here, preset with your angles, because then they're gonna come with you, and it's gonna be a one-piece swing. You're not gonna have that whippy separation and the pitch recognition like we talked with Hugh. And I got written down here the hands and elbow separation too. You want to get the elbow starting your swing just like I was talking about with Hugh, and especially if you don't have separation, you definitely are going to want to work on starting with your back elbow, because that'll negate some of the times where you get fooled and maybe your hands do leak with your body, but if you start with your elbow, you're going to create a little bit of separation just having the dynamic athletic swing between your lower and upper half. So a good drill for Nate here, I got written down, is a bucket lid drill. So that's going to be a good drill where you're going to take a bucket lid just off a bucket of balls and you're going to try to throw it through second base. And a good way to get started on this is pretend that you're a shortstop, kind of flipping it to the second baseman on a double play. So you're here, you got a bucket lid, and you're going to throw it like that. So you're here, rhythm, throw it. You're just kind of working on that whip. Pretend that you got a whip in your hand, you're whipping that whip back, and you're whipping it forward. You're going to really work on your direction as well as your separation. So I also got written down here is kind of explain aggression. So with Nate, he's not getting against his front side too hard, but it's not because he's going over it. I think it's because he's not coming forward aggressive enough to even go against it. He's kind of preset here, and he's pushing, and he's just kind of ending like that. Like he's not, and it's most of the time, guys come forward too hard and they're blowing over, and that's where you see that bent front leg. Nate's almost the opposite. He's in a really strong position here, but because of the lack of separation, he comes here and he doesn't really ever get against it. So something I want him to work on is coming forward and getting off that back side and into your front leg. So get his little circles going here. And when I say little circles, these little circles aren't necessarily going in a circle like this, but it's rocking kind of back and forth. So you're going in like an oval. Little oval here, then it's here. Then I want him to come off his back side into his front side and really come forward aggressively. So he's here, like that. And yeah, that's what I got written down for Nate. You know, it's a good, this is a really good base foundation for a swing because it's simple, his eyes aren't moving a lot, and he can, this is where he can start adding some pieces to really improving in, you know, two key areas. One, his separation with his upper half, but also aggression with that back side. So good job right there, Nate, and see what we got going. Let's check out this next guy. All right, this next guy is at Andrew Bell. There's Andrew 11 Bell. And what I got written down for him is try to hear your bat's whip. So right now, he's not separating too much, and he can probably tell just by the sound of the bat. So when you're swinging, you should try and hear the whip of your bat. Right now it's all kind of going together and it's more of a muscly swing. And for him, he probably feels like he's pulling the bat through because his front shoulder's kind of coming open and it's pulling the bat. But I want to see more of that front shoulder staying enclosed and you getting that whippy feeling from the separation, not from the separation from your hands and that front shoulder. So right now his front shoulder's coming this way, his hands are coming out, he's coming around the ball a little bit. But really a clean path. Honestly, I like the path. There's just a few little things that I want him to work on. So like I talked with that first guy too, the elbow is going to set the path and then your hands are going to hit the ball. So the elbow setting the path, then the hands hit the ball. So your elbow comes forward, your legs start going, elbow starts going, then your hands, then that shoulder can come through because your body and your swing pushes it out of the way. So something that hitters all need to work on is in their swing, your front shoulders and your hips are staying this way as long as you can. So I think I wrote that down actually for him too. I think it was the next guy. That I want his shoulders and hips staying forward as long as they can. So I've really analyzed a lot of these videos, so I got it written down. I want to stick to them because I've watched them quite a bit. So for him, I got top hand drill. So yeah, this is a good drill for him because that front shoulder's coming out a little bit. I want him to do a top hand tee drill. So he's going to hold his buddy's hand, or if he doesn't got anybody, just hold his hand over the tee. And I want him to come here, starting with his elbow and staying inside and through the ball. So he's inside through here, set in good direction. So his hands are coming here. That's the separation there. Start with the elbow, going. So it's bam, inside. And I'm really not focused on the finish. I don't care if you finish and come through. A lot of times I'll just work on staying inside the ball and keeping this palm up and inside. So I don't even care if this barrel turns. So I'm right here, bam. Hitting those balls up the tee, up the middle, second base. Bam. So on Andrew too, I got set your load first. And I also got, I bet you that he sometimes has trouble with high fastballs. Because a lot of times when that front shoulder's flying, those hands are going to fall. And it's going to be hard for you to catch up to those high pitches. But if you keep that front shoulder in, and then you can get your angle set here and inside. But if that front shoulder goes and those hands drop, it's going to be really hard, especially once you get higher. You guys are throwing harder with backspin. You're going to have a hard time catching up to those high heaters. So, yeah, that's what I got for Andrew. You know, I really like his path. He's in a good spot. The last thing I got for him, and it's just little adjustments. These are little things. You know, these guys are got pretty nice swings here. These are high school dudes. And, you know, I bet you a lot of these guys are going to start getting college interest too. These guys got some nice swings. But the last thing I got is set your load first. So I want you to set it back here and then walk away from it. Or just have a little rhythm right in this zone right here. Don't get it too cocked back here, but also don't have it here and come with you. So set in a strong position and then leave it in a strong position. There, there. All right, Andrew, let's check out this next guy. All right, so this next guy is Matt Koulikov. And the first guy I thought of right when I seen this guy is a guy with the same name, Matt Chapman, off the Athletics. Really simple swing, and that dude's a monster. He's really, really strong, and I think these guys got a lot of similarities. What I wrote down for the first drill I thought for him is bottom hand drill. So you're going to put a tennis ball or even baseball if you're in the cage, a baseball in your hand, and you're going to work on throwing that ball inside and throwing it to second base. So what you're thinking of is taking this palm and facing it towards your body the whole time. So you're here, inside, through that way. So it's going to end up facing the field, but it's facing your body the whole time. The propensity when you're using your bottom hand is to come here, and once this hand starts to go from facing here to facing open, that's when you're going to start rolling balls over. So if I just do one hand right here, I'm inside the ball, inside the ball. Once I start to turn it, look at my barrel. My barrel's coming around the ball. So if I can keep that thing this way the whole time, I'm inside. I'm here and I'm inside. So yeah, for him, I kind of got start a little bit wider, because right now your stride isn't doing too much. I'd rather you start a little bit wider and keep it simple and then come forward aggressive. Right now that stride isn't really producing too much timing, separation, or power. So I want you to start a little bit wider. And if you're going to be very simple, which I really like about your swing that it's really simple, start a tiny bit wider, just a couple inches wider. And don't bar your arm too bad either. So for this guy, I wrote flashlight drill. So imagine there's flashlights on both shoulders, both hips. So you want to keep those flashlights facing forward as long as you can. Right now you're getting here, and these flashlights are turning with your swing, turning, and they're facing the pitcher. What I want you to do is keep them facing here as long as you can. The longer you can keep them facing forward, the more width and leg you're going to have in your swing. So you're here, swinging, 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 swinging. I haven't even turned my hips yet. Here, boom. The reason why you turn your hips is for top hand extension through the zone. If you imagine, I can get extension through the zone with my bottom hand. Look at, through the zone. My top hand, I get to here, I'm stuck, like if I don't turn my hips. That's where you get your extension. That's the reason for your extension, but you don't want to start it here, because that's where you're getting around the ball. But if you can go here, inside, 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 and then extend through the ball, that's what you want to do. So yeah, that leads me right into the drill I wrote down for him, is some top hand drills, and really work on that top hand facing up the whole time. So once you set your path with your back elbow, keep it facing up, up, up. So the same thing, you don't want it tilted. So same thing with the bottom hand. You don't want this facing behind you. You want to keep it facing up through the zone. Now obviously if it's a high pitch, you're setting a really direct path, and because you're setting a direct path and you're making your hands really quick, you're gonna end up turning them over. But on these middle to low pitches, this should almost stay up the whole time. Low pitch, middle pitch, then that high one's really tough. You're gonna be here, inside, and it will turn over a little bit. But you really want to focus on, especially a guy with quick hands, you're gonna catch up to those high ones anyways. So I really want you to focus on, middle to low T. Those are good drills for you too. So let's check out this last guy. That was Matt Koulikov there. All right, this last guy is Shaffer 1109. And the first thing I got written for Shaffer is don't leg kick for power. The reason you leg kick is for timing. Obviously it's gonna create a little more power, but that shouldn't be the reason you start leg kick. Shaffer, I feel like he's kind of got a smooth little transition going, and then he just leg kicks, and it kind of messes up the rhythm of his swing. What I wrote down too is a Cuban twirl. So a lot of Cuban players they're kind of known for twirling that front toe. So instead of a signature leg kick, they twirl. They're here, they twirl, and then they come forward. So that might be something that he messes with. Or if he is going to leg kick, he's got to incorporate a cleaner separation and transition into the leg kick. So it's got to be more balanced to go forward. Here to go forward, and not weights back and then just leg kicking. So I like Shaffer's hand path. It's very short and quick, but his shoulders are what we call a merry-go-round. So his shoulders and hips are turning a little bit in a merry-go-round fashion. I want him to stay inside and more what we call a Ferris wheel. So we're here, it's a Ferris wheel movement with your shoulders and hips. And yeah, then those other drills I said for the other guys are really helpful. Both of those hand drills, top hand, bottom hand drills, and also the flashlight drill. Trying to keep it here as long as you can are going to prevent those shoulders from moving. And part of it too with Shafe is he's getting stuck on his backside a little bit. So he bars his arm a little bit. I would prefer him to keep it in here a little bit more too. And right here, wait, then you separate. And right now Shafe is getting stuck on his backside a little bit, so he's here, loading back, and he's leg kicking quick. And that's because he's a little bit late, so he's leg kicking and then spinning. But he has good path, and he's a really strong guy, so he can get away with it. But what I'd like to see is for him to start with his weight back a little bit, and he can still leg kick if he wants to, but I want him to leg kick earlier in his load. So instead of wait and then leg kick quick, I want him to be kind of preloaded, leg kick smooth, and come forward aggressively and balanced against your front side, inside the ball. And all the thing, you know, all these guys have really good swings, strong paths, good hands, and it's just little adjustments, little things. These are little minor things. So let's see, anything else with Shafe? Yeah, I got written in caps, bottom hand drill. So that's gonna prevent the merry-go-round, the shoulders. And I bet you this guy is gonna hit some bombs this year. I see, because this is a big, strong guy. If he makes these little adjustments, it's gonna keep, everything's related. So you make these little adjustments, you're gonna see the ball better. You're gonna start swinging at better pitches. You know, pitchers are gonna be more scared because you're not chasing balls in the dirt. They're gonna have to come at you. You know, it's all related, and that's really how baseball is. There's, everything's connected. So you start getting more walks, your other guys start getting on base more, you get more RBIs. You know, it's just a snowball effect, and that's how teams get hot. Everyone does the little things right, and it turns into a really big thing. So I hope you guys like this video, and we'll see you guys next time. You guys had me out of breath out there. It's pretty hot again today, and I had a long workout earlier today, about 5 hours, so that was a good time. So when I'm doing these videos, I'm really exaggerating the movement. So I don't want you guys to be pausing and trying to do exactly what I'm doing, because when I'm emulating it, and even when I'm in the cage, I'm trying to exaggerate the motion and exaggerate staying inside the ball and exaggerate using my backside and doing these things, because once you get in the game, you're going to take those exaggerations and become athletic and compete, and those movements that were big are going to become small and tight and refined. So it's really to exaggerate in the cage, and then once you get it down and are consistent, then you can start honing it and tightening it up and really perfecting it. But there's no right and wrong way. Everybody does things differently. So if I tell you something and it works, perfect. If it doesn't, you know, try some other things, and other things I tell other guys. So always be trying new things, and don't think that you're just going to figure it out. You're always making adjustments and always changing things. And that kind of leads me into what I thought was pretty interesting compared to my last video, is in middle school, those guys aren't quite as developed and strong as these high school kids. So a lot of their breakdowns in their swings are in their lower half, because their legs aren't as strong to stop their momentum or to fire. But with these guys are stronger, these high school guys, and it's more upper half. Their legs are really strong, and that strength can kind of create other problems as far as rotation and their hands coming off the ball and things like that. So that was kind of an interesting dynamic. And we're going into the next video. I'll be looking at some college guys, and it'll be interesting to see the difference between upper and lower half with those guys. And I'd guess that it's going to be a mixture of both, because they've had the development of being young and the development of being high school, and now they're moving to that collegiate level. So appreciate you guys taking time to watch the whole video, and you know, appreciate if you guys like this video, hit me a subscription, and also hit me up in the comments or social media on any ideas you guys got in the future. So we'll see you guys next time.